Okay, back again. Rubbed up, blue bottle this time. Switching up. Today I'm going to be talking about becoming great and why it's so easy to be a bum, but it's so hard to become great. So yesterday I was actually had a blessing to meet up with my good friend, one of my close friends from secondary school. We linked up and we're just talking about life, catching up, as you do, having long conversations, and we spoke about various topics. And he said something to me that really struck me. I always knew it, but really struck me hearing it in this term, where it is so easy to be a bum, but it's so hard to make some out of your life. And it got me thinking about, why is it so easy to be nothing? Like, it's so easy to be average. And I think as guys, the audience I'm speaking to, women too, who want to do something with their lives, and you look around and you look at some people and like, number one, how can you live your life like this? Number two, how are you comfortable in this state? And number three, why does it seem like your life is so much easier being a bum? But it then got me thinking about how anything worth anything takes a cost. And it got me thinking about 80% of people are average. 80% of people are normal. 80% of people are bums. So to be great, you just have to be better than 80%. But that means you're being better than the majority, so it's still hard. You probably heard that quote so many times where it's like, oh yeah, be better than 80% of people to be successful. All you have to do is be better than 80%, just be in the top 20%. But that's still 80%. Like 80% of people are still dumb and bums. So you have to be better than 80% of people, which means you have to be better than the majority to be in the minority. To be better than the majority, you have to still work. You still have to put in hours. But yet it's so easy to be in the majority. But it's so easy to be in the minority. Do you see how it's a weird parallel? And it just got me pondering about how it is actually so easy to be average in this life. To be normal. To just be living. But we don't want to just be living. We want to do so much more with our lives. We want to be great. But it's easy to be a bum. So my question to you today is, you want to be great. You want to be successful. You want to be the first this in your family. You want to be that guy in your family. Are you willing to be better than the average? Because it's hard. It's hard to not be a bum. Like, hear the English I'm saying. It's hard to not be a bum. Isn't that mad? But it's so easy to be a bum. Maybe that's just how God created it to be. That some of us, that to be better than 80% of people, you have to do 80% of the work. It goes back to me thinking about how, in a group, 20% of people, 20% of the people actually get 80% of the work done, and 80% of people just don't do anything. And it kind of goes back to this statement that I'm talking about, that the 20% actually do 80% of the work in the society. So the 20% are actually building off the load, are carrying the 80% on their back, which means that for you to be part of the 20%, you have to do 80% of the work. That's why it's so hard. I just came up with a solution. I came on this right now and I didn't actually know the answer to that question, that why is it so easy to be a bum and why is it so hard to be normal? And now I just created the answer. Because it takes 20% of people to do 80% of the work, you have to do 80% of the work to be part of 20% of the people. And that's why it's hard to be successful, but yet so easy to be a bum. Because not everyone is willing to do 20% of the work. 80% of the work that the 20% have to do. So I leave here with this. We all want to be great in this life. And being great doesn't have to do with riches. Because many people confuse it with that. Being rich is much more than the money you have in your pocket. Being rich is who your heart is as a person. It's how pure, how much peace you have. But we all want to make something of our lives. So I leave you with this. To be in the top 20%, you have to do 80% of the work. To not be a bum, you have to do 80% of the work. That's why it's hard. But remember, 80% is the majority. And you're trying to be a minority, which means you have to beat the majority.